Hi, this is Travis with Heartland Red, and in this video, we're going to take a look at TimberTech composite decking. Now, TimberTech offers their decking in 4 different collections: the Edge Collection, the Terrain Collection, the Reserve Collection, and the Legacy Collection. So we'll take a look at all 4 of those collections today, the different colors, the different textures, and discuss warranties and some price points on each one of those. So we're gonna start at the entry-level position, which is the Edge Collection. Now here at Heartland Red, we provide the Prime Plus collection, which is a part of the Edge series. There's a couple different collections. They also have Premier, but we just stick with the Prime Plus collection, and that has 2 different colors: sea salt gray and coconut husk. So let's go ahead and take a look at what these colors look like. This is the sea salt gray, and this one is coconut husk. This color is a very, very popular color. We've installed on quite a few decks. So this one, they both have obviously the same texture. As you can see, the texture on this, there's some stippling going on, a little bit of deep grooves to give you some good traction on the board. This board, the sea salt gray, does have this same striping or variegation as the coconut husk board does. It's just that this specific sample doesn't have a lot of it in there. So this is also in there as well. It's going to stand out a little bit, not quite as much as it does on the coconut husk board, but you will see it also in this sea salt gray. The Edge Collection offers a 25-year warranty against fade and stain, and also a 25-year structural warranty on the product itself. So we'll take a look at the back of the board again. This is what is called a scalloped board. What they do is take some of the composite out here, reduces the weight, but really the main reason for doing this is just to keep the cost down on the board. If you get a side profile here, you can see exactly what that looks like. Now this is the underside of the decking, so you're not ever going to see this unless you're standing underneath your deck looking up. Then you will see the scallop side, but this in no way affects the performance of the board. There's no issues there whatsoever. The only thing that it doesn't allow us to do is use a Cortex fastening system or a plug fastening system on the top of this, because what we do there is we sink a screw, and once the screw is sunk about halfway down the board, then we use a plug that is the same as this. We put that over top, and then you never see it. The problem with a scalloped board is we can't do that, because if we sink the screw too deep, it's going to pop through this other side. So that's the only thing with a scalloped board that you cannot do versus a full profile board. So that's the only difference there. But other than that, these boards are fantastic boards. Like I said, we've done quite a few of them. Everybody is happy with these. They come in at a really good price point. This is the entry level for the TimberTech series. So this is going to keep the budget down quite a bit. The other thing I wanted to show you here is this groove. Hopefully that will focus well for you, but this groove right here is what we use for the hidden fastener system. So when the deck boards are laid like so, there's a hidden fastener system inside there that connects these boards together. So you will never see a fastener. We do not face screw on these. The only time we face screw is on the stairs. So your steps have to be face screwed because we can't use a hidden fastener there. So that's the only time that we have to face screw. We use a color match screw, so you're not really going to see it unless you're really, really looking for it. So that is one of the benefits there as well. So this is the Edge series, or the Edge Collection, Prime Plus collection from TimberTech, the entry-level collection, sea salt gray, coconut husk. So let's move on to the next collection, which is the Terrain Collection. And the Terrain Collection is what we do all of our bids for. So if you've had a bid done, then this is the collection that you are bid for. Let's get these all laid out, try to get them all in the picture here. Okay. So the difference between the Terrain Collection versus the Edge Collection is that this board is capped on all 4 sides. So what that means is that this PVC cap goes all the way around the entire board. On the Edge Collection, I'll bring one of those back in here, it is capped on 3 sides, so the sides and the top, but the bottom is not capped. So that's one of the other differences between the Edge Collection and the rest of the TimberTech lines, are the capping on the boards. This has a different texture to it, so we'll just go ahead and start showing you what these look like. This is rustic elm. This is a very dark board. This is used really well for trim as like a two-tone color. Rustic elm is used quite a bit for that. And then we have stone ash, which is a nice light gray. And these are going to be the two monochromatic colors in the terrain collection. These last two, silver maple and brown oak, which are very similar to each other, you'll see that they have a lot of this striping, a lot of this variegation in them to give them some, distinct looks. These two are going to be monochromatic. These two are going to be variegated. Pricing stays the same, but we know this one is used quite a bit for trim colors. So your fascia, your risers, this color is used quite a bit for that. Silver maple is the most popular board that we install. This one, a lot of people go with this one, and I'll show some color combinations later on in the video to show some of the colors that will go really well with that. But this is your terrain collection. So the difference here with the Edge, this has a 30-year structural warranty and a 30-year fade and stain warranty, and this is moving you into the Pro collection from TimberTech. So Edge is its own series, then Pro, and then it moves up to AZEK after that, but there will be a different video on AZEK. So this is the Pro collection. This has the exact same things as Edge. It's a scalloped board, hidden fastening system, but it is capped on all four sides, so that gives you a little bit more protection. So that is the Terrain series from TimberTech. So now we will move on to the Reserve collection. And the Reserve collection is where we start to see full profile boards. So no scallops on these. So as you'll see here, these are capped on all four sides. These also have a 30-year structural warranty and fade and stain warranty on them, just like the Terrain series. But these are a full profile board. So you will see there is no scallop. So let me bring one of these back in here. You'll see the difference right there. One has a scallop, one does not. So these are a full profile board. So the nice thing about this is we are able to use Cortex screws in here, or a plug system where we sink the screw and then we put the plug on top that matches the decking so that you don't see the screw head. So this is the first and most popular color in the Reserve collection. This is driftwood. This one is antique leather. And this is your dark roast. So all of these colors are fantastic. You'll see that on the texture here, this is more of a reclaimed wood texture. There's some deep grooves going on here. The look was mimicked after reclaimed barnwood. So that's really the look you're getting from this. This is going to have some pretty good slip resistance as well. Same with Terrain and the Edge series, all very good for slip resistance. These deep grooves will definitely help out with that. But the colors in this line are fantastic. They did have another color in the line called Storm Gray. They held back production on that this year, 2021, just to make sure that they were able to get the other colors out and keep it moving. But the decision has been made to not bring Storm Gray back simply because it is so close to the driftwood color, and the driftwood is very, very popular. So Storm Gray will not return, so it'll just be these three colors in the Reserve collection. Once again, we have driftwood, antique leather, dark roast. All fantastic options. This is obviously the next price point above Terrain. There's a bit of a jump between Terrain and Reserve, but this is a wonderful collection to get into. And driftwood I will bring back in a moment as well to show the most popular color combination to go with driftwood. So let's get to the very last collection, and that is the Legacy collection from TimberTech. And this is going to be their top of the line when it comes to the TimberTech series before we get into AZEK, because AZEK really is their top of the line. And that is a PVC board. So right now we're just going to be discussing the composites. So we'll just stick with that. So the very first and most obvious one here, we'll flip over first. That is the whitewash cedar. That is right down here. As you can see, it is a very creamy white, has some of that striping going on in there. This is a fantastic board. This is going to be the coolest board as far as temperatures. are concerned, composite will get warm in direct sunlight, but the lighter the board, the cooler it's going to stay. So this is a very popular color, especially around pools. This is going to be a great color because you know everybody's going to be out there barefooted. So to keep the board temperature down, the lighter color is always the better option because the darker the board, the more heat it's going to retain, the hotter it's going to be. So whitewash cedar. The next color is going to be mocha. Beautiful dark brown with some nice striping in there. This particular sample piece here doesn't show a ton of the striping in it, but there are some boards that will really be heavy with that variegation in there. It's a very, very beautiful board, and the fascia and the risers for something like this is really, really nice. And that is going to follow throughout all of these in the Legacy series. The next one is pecan, and you can really see what's going on in this one. The entire Legacy series is going to be similar to that. It's just that these 4-inch samples can only show a small part of the board. The next one is espresso. This is the most popular trim color that we do. So a lot of people will pick a main color, usually something lighter, and then they'll go with espresso as their trim color because when you get a lot of contrast, it really, really sets the deck off. So espresso is a very, very popular trim color, and I will bring that back in just a moment. The next one we have is ashwood. Ashwood is a very similar color to the driftwood in the reserve line, but this has a completely different texture. The whole Legacy series has a different texture. We'll show that in a second. And it's just a touch darker, just a little bit darker than that driftwood. This is going to be more of a gray. Driftwood has more tan going on in it. So last one is tigerwood. Tigerwood is very similar to pecan, but it's a lighter brown, not quite as dark tones as the pecan is, but still has a lot of that variegation and that striping going on in there to mimic real tigerwood. So the Legacy collection, two things about it. First thing, we'll look at the ridges that are going on here in the board. You can see all of these ridges. This is going to be the texture on the Legacy collection, which is very different from, we'll say, terrain. Let me slide one of those in there. As you can see, terrain is very stippled. There's a lot of stippling going on here for traction purposes. And then if we bring in, let's bring in coconut husk. Coconut husk, the Edge series is very similar to terrain. There's a lot of stippling going on here. Not super deep grooves, but there are some deep grooves there to help with slip resistance. And then the last one we will bring in is antique leather from the Reserve collection. Now this is going to be your deepest grooving going on in all 3 of these, or all 4 of these, I'm sorry. This is going to be the deepest grooves that you're going to get to mimic that reclaimed wood. This is really, really going to be good with slip resistance. So that's kind of the difference when you look at all these. When we're talking about the Legacy collection here specifically, these boards are very, very soft to the touch. Very, very soft to the touch. So they're not going to have as much slip resistance. And at the end of the day, anything can be a slippery surface. Concrete gets wet, it can get slick. When wood gets wet, it gets slick. But composite makers have done their best to add a little bit of traction there to try to combat that a little bit and help out. But this Legacy board is really just these slight ridges in there. So there's a little bit of slip resistance there, but it's not going to be quite as good as the other ones with the deep grooving. That's going to help a little bit better with that. But the color variations in these boards in the Legacy collection are by far the best out of all of them, and that's reflected in the price point. The other thing about the Legacy collection that is different from the other collections is a lot of these boards, every deck board is going to be slightly different from the next one. So obviously the streaking is going to be different, but even the color tone is going to be just a touch different in each board. So some might be just a little bit lighter, some might be just a little bit darker, and that gives it more of a real wood look. So that's one thing about the Legacy series that differs a bit from the other ones. You're going to get a different look in every single board, and it's going to give you a more realistic wood look if that's the look that you're going for. That's what the Legacy series is really known for. So the Legacy series is also in the Pro line along with Reserve and Terrain. So you're getting a 30-year structural warranty, 30-year fade and stain warranty, just like Reserve and Terrain. So that is the different collections. Now let's look at some popular color combinations. So I am going to leave espresso in here for now, because espresso is a very, very popular color to do trim with. So this is your espresso. It's a very dark, grayish brown. I mean, the word espresso, you think of browns, but it is a very, very dark brownish, grayish color. But the most popular combination we do is espresso for your fascia, your risers, possibly even breaker boards if necessary or if you want that look, and then driftwood as the deck boards. This is probably the most common duo that we build. People love these, the driftwood board, the texture, the slip resistance, the overall look, and the price point all play a big role in why people will go with driftwood as their deck boards. It's a fantastic choice. It's a nice light board. It's neutral. I know it probably looks gray with this and this background both being gray, but it really is more of a tan. And so it's got a nice neutral look, but it's got this dark gray striping going on in here that matches this espresso almost perfectly. So they play off of each other very, very well. And then having these darker surfaces as your fascia and your risers, you're never gonna be standing on those, so you don't have to worry about heat. This is a lighter board, it's gonna stay cooler. So this is a very, very, very popular combination that we do. Once again, this is driftwood from the Reserve line. This is espresso from the Legacy collection. So let's take these out of here and let's show another popular combination. And with this one, we're gonna use mocha as the trim. And this one might surprise you a little bit. Silver maple for the deck boards. Now on the surface, I know this might sound strange because it seems like a gray and a brown being put together. And at the end of the day, that technically is what's happening. However, silver maple does have a lot of tan in it as well. So it plays well with browns as well as grays. You could even bring espresso back in here to work with silver maple, and that would work okay as well. You're not gonna get as much of a contrast as you would with the driftwood, but you're still gonna get that contrast. And these two colors would work well together as well. But this has been a very popular combination, and I think bringing the browns in and making this board look more tan has really pushed people to go this direction. So this is another one that we do quite a bit. Also, since we bid for the terrain line, staying in the terrain line for all of your deck boards is gonna keep that cost down, and stepping up a little bit on your trim for your fascia and your risers is not much of an additional cost, but being able to go with something like a mocha is really, really nice. So this is silver maple from the terrain and mocha from the Legacy series. So I will show you one more here that is very popular, and this is for the very budget conscious. This is rustic elm from terrain and coconut husk from edge. This is really gonna be the combination that a lot of people will go to if they're, concerned more about the budget than anything. If the warranty, with the edge boards being a little bit less as far as the warranty, it's still 25 years, that's a long time. But if warranty is not as big of an issue, you're really just looking for a really solid combination without spending a bunch of money, this is probably the go-to combination here, unless you're just gonna do one color on the deck. But this is a great combination to go coconut husk, rustic elm. So your rustic elm is going to be your risers and your fascia, and the coconut husk is going to be your deck boards. So fantastic option for the people who wanna keep that budget down or focused on the budget overall. But at the end of the day, you really can't go wrong with any of these boards. TimberTech is a fantastic company. They stand behind their product. It's been installed for years and years and years. We've never had any issues with it. So you really can't go wrong with any of these products. And we tell everybody when they come into the showroom, there's really no rules. You can pair up anything you want. In fact, we also offer Moisture Shield, and some people will go with a TimberTech board, Moisture Shield trim, or vice versa. There's really no rules here. You can do whatever you want. So it's kind of a playground in the showroom, and you can pick whatever you want for your deck. So those are just basically the highlights and the informational pieces on the TimberTech line. Once again, the Edge collection, Terrain collection, the Reserve collection, and the Legacy collection, all from TimberTech. If you have any other questions about these products, you can absolutely give us a call anytime, 402-405-5755. You can also visit our website, www.heartlandred.com, or you can visit TimberTech's website at timbertech.com. Thank you and have a great day.